Every great achievement begins in the quiet chambers of the mind. What you allow to take root in your thoughts becomes the force that shapes your destiny. If you concentrate on limitation, you will meet limitation. But if you hold firmly to a clear and burning vision, the world around you will rearrange itself to match that focus. Your mind is a magnet. It does not attract what you casually wish for. It draws in what you dwell on with feeling, persistence, and absolute certainty. The moment you decide what you truly want, every invisible power around you begins to shift. Ideas appear. Opportunities emerge. People cross your path who were never there before. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response of the universe to a mind that knows its aim. Thoughts are the architects of your future. Fix your focus on fear, and fear will shape your days. Fix it on purpose, and purpose will carve a new path beneath your feet. You are not waiting on life to change. Life is waiting on you to direct your mind with intention. So ask yourself, what vision am I feeding? What reality am I building in secret? Because what you focus on with unwavering conviction will one day stand before you in the form of your lived experience. The mind is a magnet, and this single truth holds more power than most people realize. Every thought we allow to live within us, every idea we nurture, every emotion we repeatedly return to, they all form an invisible current that pulls corresponding experiences into our lives. People often believe their circumstances are shaped by luck, by chance, or by forces entirely outside their influence. But the deeper truth is that the mind quietly works behind the scenes, attracting conditions that mirror its dominant focus. When a person spends their days filled with thoughts of fear, doubt, revenge, or scarcity, they unknowingly create a gravitational pull that draws more of those conditions toward them. It is not punishment. It is simply the natural function of a mind that has fixated itself on the very outcomes it wants to avoid. On the other hand, when someone holds a definite purpose, when they think with faith rather than uncertainty, and when they fill their inner world with images of what they desire rather than what they dread, something remarkable begins to happen. Their mind starts signaling for matching opportunities, like a beacon sending out a call. People come into their lives who align with their direction. Ideas surface in moments of stillness. Unexpected openings appear, openings that seem coincidental to the untrained observer but are in reality the direct result of mental focus exercising its magnetic pull. A focused mind becomes a force of nature. It draws experiences with a precision that defies logic, yet aligns perfectly with the laws of thought. This magnetism is not a mystical superstition. It is a practical function of human psychology, behavior, and energy. Whatever you dwell upon frames your worldview, and your worldview dictates your actions. If you continuously think of failure, you hesitate, you shrink, you distrust yourself. You become defensive instead of creative. You avoid risks instead of seeking possibilities. Eventually, those repeated patterns lead to the very outcomes you feared. Your mind attracted them, not by mysterious magic, but by shaping your decisions and behavior in ways that made them inevitable. Conversely, if your mind is fixed on success, if your inner conversations are filled with confidence, if your imagination holds a clear picture of achievement, your behavior begins to transform. You become more persistent. You notice things others overlook. You take actions guided by clarity instead of fear. And over time, those behaviors too bring the matching results into your life. The magnet of the mind is also influenced by emotion, because emotion acts like fuel. A thought lightly entertained has little pull, but a thought embraced with feeling becomes powerful. When a person dreams of something with passion, when they can feel it in advance, their mind charges that vision with energy. That emotional weight intensifies the attraction, making the idea more compelling internally and more influential externally. People often underestimate the role of feeling in shaping reality. They assume thoughts alone are enough, but thoughts without feeling are like seeds scattered on dry soil. Nothing can grow from them. Thoughts infused with emotion, however, become alive. They grow roots in the subconscious, and once rooted, they begin to attract their counterpart in the outside world. A focused mind does not chase countless desires. It chooses one, gives itself entirely to it, and holds that idea until the world bends to its clarity. A mind scattered across many fears and many conflicting intentions weakens its pull. It sends out mixed signals. It attracts a blend of results that mirror its confusion. But when someone decides what they want, truly decides, their mind becomes unified. Their thoughts, emotions, and actions begin working in one direction. That unity is where magnetism gains its strength. A person who knows what they want, who thinks about it daily, who speaks as though it is possible, who believes that life will respond, becomes unstoppable, not because they are lucky, gifted, or extraordinary, but because they have aligned their entire mental world with a single destination. This principle has always been true, even for those unaware of it. Everyone is attracting results all the time, whether they intend to or not. The only question is whether they are attracting what they want or what they fear. The mind does not discriminate. It simply amplifies whatever occupies it most intensely. If a person constantly imagines worst-case scenarios, the mind magnifies them. If a person constantly imagines growth, abundance, or achievement, the mind magnifies those instead. The mind cannot help but reflect what it continually absorbs. The key is not merely to think positively, but to think deliberately. To choose the thoughts that serve your vision and release the ones that sabotage it. To nourish mental pictures that lead forward and starve the ones that hold you back. Because over time, the mind begins to rearrange your reality to match whatever you have insisted on holding within it. And it does so quietly, steadily, and with astonishing accuracy. Definiteness of focus is the gateway through which every meaningful achievement must pass. Without a clear direction, the mind becomes scattered, drifting from one idea to another without the power to bring anything into reality. A person may possess intelligence, talent, and ambition, but if their focus is divided, their efforts dissolve into confusion. It is the same as sunlight, dispersed. It warms the skin, concentrated through a lens. It becomes strong enough to ignite fire. The mind works no differently. When you decide what you want with absolute clarity, when you reduce your desires to a single, definite aim, your internal energy gathers itself. Your thoughts line up. Your emotions align. Your actions start moving in harmony. And once that alignment begins, the direction of your destiny becomes unmistakably defined. Most people never experience the power of definite focus because they are constantly pulled by countless small desires. They want success, but they also want comfort. They want progress, but they fear change. They want opportunity, but they hesitate to commit. This conflict produces a diluted kind of thinking, a half-hearted approach that leads nowhere. A person cannot be in two places at once, nor can the mind hold two opposing visions without weakening its influence. The moment you choose one path with conviction, something remarkable happens. Doubt begins to fade. Distraction loses its grip. Energy that was once wasted on indecision is suddenly reclaimed. You become capable of sustained effort in a way you never were before. Definiteness of focus also brings with it a clarity that changes how you see the world. When you know exactly what you are aiming for, opportunities that once looked ordinary suddenly reveal their value. You notice things that were invisible to you in your indecisive state. Conversations take on new meaning. Information you once ignored becomes useful. People who can help you appear at the right time, not because they were never there before, but because your newly sharpened focus allows you to recognize their relevance. The world seems to shift in your favor, when in truth, it is your mind that has shifted into a state of greater awareness and alignment. Once a person becomes definite in their purpose, obstacles that once felt overwhelming lose their power. A clear aim creates a kind of inner resilience. Challenges no longer feel like signs to quit, they appear as steps on the path. The person with a vague desire gives up easily because they are not deeply rooted in their intention. They are easily discouraged because they do not truly know what they want or why they want it. But the individual who has chosen a specific aim possesses a kind of emotional armor. Their purpose pulls them forward with a strength greater than temporary setbacks. They rise after failure because their focus has created a compelling future they refuse to abandon. Another remarkable effect of definiteness of focus is that it simplifies life. When you know your destination, decision-making becomes easier. You stop entertaining options that contradict your purpose. You stop wasting time on pursuits that distract rather than contribute. Many people feel overwhelmed not because they have too much to do, but because they have not chosen what is truly important. Definite focus cuts away the noise. It removes the chaos of uncertainty and replaces it with the quiet confidence of direction. You no longer need to question every step. Instead, you simply ask, Does this serve my aim? If it does, you pursue it. If it does not, you let it go. Life becomes more intentional, more meaningful, and far more productive. Definiteness of focus also strengthens belief. When you commit to one vision, you begin to build a relationship with that vision. You see it clearer. You feel it more strongly. You return to it in your thoughts again and again until it becomes part of your identity. What was once a wish turns into an expectatio. And when expectation forms, belief follows. A person who expects success behaves differently than one who merely hopes for it. Expectation alters speech, posture, attitude, and action. It creates a quiet certainty that others can feel, and that certainty itself draws cooperation, trust, and opportunity. But definiteness of focus does not emerge automatically. It requires introspection. It requires the courage to choose a path and the discipline to stay with it long enough for results to unfold. Many people fear commitment because committing to one thing means letting go of others. But what they do not realize is that every meaningful accomplishment requires sacrifice. Without eliminating distractions, no one can give their full energy to the goal that matters most. Choosing a definite aim is not limiting, it is freeing. It liberates you from wandering through life without direction and gives you the power to shape your future with intention. When your focus becomes definite, life takes on a new rhythm. Your thoughts move with purpose, your actions carry weight, your days gain structure, and the universe seems to respond not because it suddenly favors you, but because you have finally aligned your inner world with a clear and unwavering direction. The universe responds to your dominant mental state, not to the fleeting wishes that pass through your mind. People often believe their desires alone should transform into results, but desire without conviction is like a whisper in a storm, easily lost, easily ignored. What truly shapes your life is the mental atmosphere you carry day after day, the emotional vibration you emit, and the expectations you nurture beneath the surface. It is not the momentary thought, but the persistent inner condition that influences the direction of events. The world around you mirrors what you consistently hold within you, not what you OCC. Occasionally hope for, a person may wish for success, but if fear dominates their inner world, the greater force will always win. They may hope for abundance, but if scarcity is their constant emotional companion, that scarcity will continue to show itself in their circumstances. This principle does not operate from punishment. It simply reflects the alignment between your inner and outer worlds. Your dominant mental state is like the climate of your soul. While individual thoughts come and go like passing weather, the climate sets the long-term conditions. A warm climate leads to growth. A cold climate leads to stagnation. In the same way, the recurring emotional patterns you carry create the overall conditions of your life. This is why some people seem to move forward effortlessly, while others struggle endlessly. It is not always about effort or intelligence. It is about the state of mind through which every action flows. When your mental state is filled with confidence, trust, clarity, and purpose, the world responds accordingly. You approach challenges with strength instead of shrinking from them. You interpret setbacks as temporary instead of permanent. You walk with a posture that signals determination. These small internal shifts create external ripples. People treat you differently. Opportunities open in surprising ways. Ideas arrive at the right moment. What looks like luck is simply alignment between your inner certainty and the path you are walking. The same principle applies to those who allow doubt and fear to dominate their mental atmosphere. When fear is the prevailing state of mind, even the smallest challenge becomes a mountain. Even the simplest opportunity feels risky. The mind interprets neutral situations as threats. It avoids possibilities that could lead to growth. And as a result, life begins to contract around the person, mirroring the contract. Ion in their own thinking. They experience more of what they dwell on because their thoughts dictate their reactions and their reactions shape their reality. This cycle continues until the person changes the emotional state from which they live. Your dominant mental state does not only affect how you act, it shapes what you notice. Two people can walk through the same environment, yet one sees only problems while the other sees possibilities. This difference is not caused by external conditions, but by the internal lens through which each person views the world. A person whose mind is tuned toward opportunity will naturally discover openings that others miss. They will hear potential in conversations where others hear nothing. They will connect dots that others overlook. Their inner state sharpens their awareness, and allows them to recognize the very things that pull them closer to their goals. Emotion plays a powerful role in this process. The universe responds not to empty words, but to the emotional energy behind your thoughts. You cannot simply say, "I am confident," while clinging to fear on the inside and expect your life to shift. You cannot declare abundance while feeling deeply unworthy and expect prosperity to flow. Words spoken without emotional alignment are hollow. True transformation begins when your dominant emotional state matches the reality you seek. This alignment creates a frequency that draws matching experiences toward you. When you feel abundance, you begin to act like someone who expects good things. When you feel worthy, you stop settling for less. When you feel courageous, you stop delaying decisions. Emotion fuels action, and action generates results. This is why the work of shaping your reality begins within. Changing your environment without changing your inner state is like repainting a cracked wall without repairing the foundation. Cracks will return because the root cause has not been addressed. But when you shift your mental climate, when you cultivate gratitude instead of complaint, confidence instead of doubt, hope instead of fear, you alter the very foundation of your life. The outer world eventually follows because it must mirror the inner one. This principle operates quietly but relentlessly. Every day your dominant thoughts and feelings send out a signal. You may not see it, you may not consciously direct it, but it is always broadcasting, and the world naturally responds to that signal over time. Not instantly, not magically, but consistently and with unfailing precision. The life you live becomes the echo of the inner state you maintain. Every reality begins as a thought long before it becomes something you can touch, see, or experience. Nothing that exists in the world today, no invention, no achievement, no breakthrough, appeared suddenly or by accident. Everything was first born in the quiet space of someone's imagination. That unseen spark is where all creation begins. Yet most people underestimate the power of their thoughts because they cannot immediately see the connection between what they think and what they eventually live. They assume thoughts are harmless or inconsequential, when in truth, thoughts are the blueprint of their future. A thought held long enough, believed deeply enough, and fed consistently enough will one day take shape in the outer world with astonishing clarity. The mind is a workshop where ideas take form long before they manifest in physical reality. When you imagine something vividly, you are not merely daydreaming. You are giving life to an inner pattern that can eventually become a lived experience. Every great architect sketches a design before the building is constructed. Every composer hears the melody in their mind before a single note is played. Eve.
Rye leader envisions a destination long before others can see it.
In the same way, your thoughts sketch the design of your life even when you are not aware of the process. The world you live in today is largely shaped by thoughts you nurtured yesterday, and the world you will inhabit tomorrow is being shaped right now in the privacy of your inner world. Most people allow their thoughts to drift without direction. They let fear, doubt, or old memories dominate their minds, not realizing that these recurring thoughts are quietly creating the circumstances they will meet in the future. A person who continually imagines hardship begins to behave as though hardship is inevitable. They take fewer chances. They speak with hesitation. They walk through life bracing for the next setback. These subtle behaviors, repeated over time, carve out a reality that mirrors the picture they have repeatedly painted in their minds. Thoughts are not passive. They are architects shaping the world around you, one decision, one emotion, one action at a time. In contrast, when someone chooses their thoughts deliberately, when they imagine success with detail, feel its presence internally, and return to that picture repeatedly, they begin to move in harmony with that vision. They walk with a sense of purpose. They speak with conviction. They become more alert to opportunities that match the reality they are building within. This alignment is not forced. It arises naturally because the thought has already set the direction. The mind begins to filter experiences, accepting those that support the vision and rejecting those that contradict it. This is why a strong inner picture is so powerful. It becomes the lens through which you interpret the world. A thought does not need to be complicated to shape your reality. Even a simple idea, if held consistently, can create profound change. A person who repeatedly thinks, "I am capable of more," will begin to notice openings for growth that others overlook. They will feel nudged toward improvement.